I just wanted to make a quick follow-up video to the video I released yesterday, which was 5 different methods for awakening. I wanted to just make a couple points about that. One is, of course, your way is the right way. No way that I define is the right way, especially for any given individual. So you will find your own way in. You have to find your own way in. That's number one. So it's imperative that as your, let's say, concentration or your surrender, which actually become one and the same at some point, is primary. Don't second guess that and try to compare it to something I said. In those moments of surrendered practice, what matters is letting go. It's not any kind of thought, conception, analysis, judgment. So you could say this is where all of these methods really meet, is beyond conceptuality. When we've let go of the need to check in with ourself, check in with our memory, check in with how we're doing and where we are on some scale. That is exactly what keeps us, in one sense, asleep. Keeps us bound into psychology, thoughts, conception, checking back, comparing, analysis, judgment, right? So when we're practicing, it's critical to go beyond that in one way or another, beyond that mind barrier, that conceptual barrier. And once you're beyond that, really all 5 of those quote unquote paths converge, including any other path. Those aren't the only 5, of course. Those are just 5 that I've seen work well as initial entry points, or really entry points that take you quite deep. But at some point, when you go beyond the conceptual, when you go beyond the bindings of who I am, where I came from, where I'm going, what I'm made out of, what's right and wrong, what's true and false, what group I'm in, what group I'm not in, once you've gone beyond all that, all paths converge. Now, a few people made comments that were adept in some sense, and that is, I just sit in presence, or I just sit with presence, or what is, or awareness. There are various ways of talking about this, and other teachers talk about it, and that's fine. Totally fine. The only thing about that is that can kind of cross over with meditation, like maybe natural meditation. And often meditation doesn't quite do it. And the reason that is that it's a sort of passive act, right? Just sitting in presence is reasonably passive. Now you could say that once you go beyond conceptuality, it is a sort of non-doing, but it's not passive. There's an alertness that remains. There's a full-on alertness, a willingness to see past delusion. That has to be there. So sometimes we can fool ourselves and just sit in presence or sit in awareness and sit in consciousness, and we haven't had a shift in identity at all. But it feels good, it feels comfortable, it feels quiet, and that's fine. That's meditation. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're looking to wake up, often applying something, a practice that is active, actively digging, actively looking, actively getting behind the views, actively getting behind the belief structures, the forming thoughts that are sneaking in, trying to shape your frame of reference right now. Like, you have to kind of find a way to get behind those. Take the backward step. So sometimes a more active inquiry, or I would say oftentimes a more active inquiry of some kind is required. And that's, a next sort of step or level beyond just sitting in presence. Now again, once you've gone through those identity barriers, those belief barriers, and even a fear barrier sometimes, you do find yourself in this sort of radically neutral space. But it's different than a sort of meditative, quiet mind. It definitely was for me, and still is. And the difference is it's sort of charged. It's like sort of radically alive and ineffable and very difficult to talk about. And you feel different in that. You feel different. The identity feels different. It's sort of as if identity's taken from a different, I don't know what, dimension or scale. but there's not an identity operating so much because we're not thinking and conceptualizing. So really that's what I wanted to say, is that it's important to, however it works for you, find a way beyond that sort of passive abiding. And I usually find that is the key. But again, just go beyond concept, however you have to do that in the moment, right now, until there's just that. Just that which is beyond concept. It's an ongoing unbinding, an active passivity, an alert relaxation, a transcendence, but a very present, imminent transcendence that misses nothing. That's it.